What's good, YouTube? And welcome to the house where we've got the most amazing, highly edited, thought-provoking, quality content that you guys strive and hunger for. Am I right? We've got heavy metal foes, Electromite, and it is tanking still. EXO special editions were coming out, which was going to up the quantity no matter what. But it is just nosediving past the point where a lot of people thought it would. Already under the $40 mark. The ban list looming just has so many people scared. But I've got this to say, it's no sooner than April. Everybody's anticipating it very soon. We know there's a guaranteed update in the special edition when Grand Soil comes out. They could wait till then to make the huge update because the game seems very healthy right now. But everybody's predicting the ban list and excited for it, yet they're also saying, a lot of you guys, that the meta is not stale, that it's actually really fun. But True Draco is also looming and falling. Takes 3 spots out of the top 4 and nosedives. This is just how scared of the ban list people are. We saw it with Spirals. We saw the prices nosedive. Some recovered a little bit. Spiral Super Agent sitting at something like $7 now when it had tanked to 4. But like not really ever back to the point near what it was when they were $20 for those Ultras. And I believe Double Helix is still like $1 something. It's actually just insane. So people see the history. They don't want to repeat it. And they are just tossing their diagrams. And actually on TCG Player, it's where you want to go because look at this. Adam Cord holds the bottom line of the front page at $34 with 6 first edition copies. People really are trying to get rid of these like they're a hot potato. No, you take this. No, you. It's that old game of hot potato. You don't want to burn your hands with it. And people are just unloading. On eBay, however, it's actually just starts out straight higher and then goes up. So it seems the vendors are much more incentivized on TCG Player to get rid of this one, as well as Electromite, because it starts at 40, goes up to 42 quickly, whereas we see it starts at 38, and yes, does go up towards 40 very quickly, but there are plenty of sellers at the $40 mark. So ban list fears really driving home the meta prices, and they just continue to nosedive, and it is beautiful. If you have regionals upcoming and you don't think the ban list will hit before them, might want to go ahead and choose and grab your deck and then unload it yourself, that hot potato kind of thing. Get your invite, get ready for the WCQ. But if you're calling this to not get hit heavily on the ban list, which I think it will end up probably getting hit in my own personal opinion, but you're gambling whenever you talk ban list, this could be a really good pickup. It will skyrocket if it goes relatively untouched, but I really think they need to like do something to the deck myself. It's so powerful. It's just so insane. Now, a lot of people are asking me, I want to get rid of these volatile meta cards. What should I invest in? Legendary Duelist Ancient Millennium prices are just the most stable thing ever. So if you're trading at locals, a lot of people might let this go for less if they have it in their trade binder because they're not so attached for it. A lot of people open this product for a specific thing. Like, I wanted those Ancient Gear cards, I wanted those Crystal Beast cards, so they don't care about the rest. And a lot of them are kind of high priced. So since they're very stable, this is what I would be personally trading for at locals because it's unlikely any of them are going to get reprints soon. And most of them seem stable. Rainbow Bridge has been falling. It's not a short print. People let it go. But you see, even Toon Kingdom, we saw it at a solid 5. I told you guys to pick that up. $7 plus already. It happens. But these are the kinds of cards I think overall, even Rainbow Bridge, that you want to be trading for and putting towards, because they're not volatile, they're very stable. We see from the last Legendary Duelist actually as well that the Red Eye stuff stayed up and very solid. So if you're trading, you don't want to lose value, you want something that'll keep value. Get these, but I will warn, your trade and sales rates may not be the best off of these either, because people who wanted them probably already got them. So it's safe value, but it may be a little slow moving. Let's go ahead and look through Expo for 2 more cards that I actually want to talk about besides Electromite. Well, a couple. Mech Knight, Purple Nightfall, and Blue Sky are finally coming down a little here on TCG Player. It's still great. The engine's amazing. I've been playing it as kind of my deck, Mech Knight Invoked, as the deck that I personally enjoy the most in the meta. So I like this deck a lot, but they did deserve to come down with the Unlimiteds coming out, and you see the bottom prices are from Unlims as well. There's just so many of these special editions ripped open, it was impossible for the quantity not to go up to meet demand, but these are cards that over time might go back up, so it's up to you. Also, do keep in mind the ever looming threat of the Megatins to reprints as well, but they've really chomped down on the amount of cards that go into Megatins lately, and if they repeat the last 2 years where it's 15, 15, 15, I could see a lot of the Reigns pack cards going into their own set somewhere later. Like Konami, like, oh yeah, we'll give you Reigns pack, just a little late. And then, like, putting a lot of the other cards like this in the Megatins. Again, all speculation. You've got to come up to your own mind and kind of think, what kind of products might Konami release? We see Cerebus actually just falling like a rock. It's a great card, but a lot of people moved away from it. But if Pendulum Magicians get hit heavily, this might be part of the way it continues. So consider trading for years, but it's still declining in value right now. First Ed's actually being the lowest price, just a note. And a card that is, in my mind, screaming, please pick me up. Please pick up so many of me. But again, the Megaton, the threat of that looms, and then maybe just another pack like that. Like, oh, here's your Reigns pack. Like, I really think Isolde's an amazing card that is so undervalued that's going to end up in so many things and do so well. I really do. And I don't want you guys to be without yours, but I do want you to be aware that it might also be bad to trade for. It's actually just insane, but its value is so good at $7 for what it is. And then the final card, besides Hey Trunade, 650, just sitting there, just saying. Cyber Gear Gamma has done exactly what I said it would do. It followed the path of the Solemn Strike and has dipped, but it's going to do that Nike swoosh and start going back up after a certain point, I believe. It's at $3, which is amazing to pick up your playset for under $10, and Gamma will find its way back into metas. Again, there will be points where you need to activate cards, and you need to answer those hand traps that go to the grave or answer other Gammas, and even though you gotta play Driver, it's a really good card. So at less than 10 for some playsets, that's pretty cool. And on eBay, it's still sitting around the $4 mark. It's still falling over here too. And just looking over here, I really like this card. I really think it's good, but at the same time, investment-wise, I think it might be bad. But I would just have one copy, because you only need 1 to 2 copies for any deck you're playing it in. But I would have a copy. Just don't get caught without it, but also realize you might be losing if you're going from an investment standpoint. Spiral Tough, speaking of spirals, I looked him up earlier. He's actually up to almost $2. So just letting you know, you might have some money you didn't know that you had. And I certainly didn't know this was worth a $2 card, market price $1.20 here. And actually $3 lowest on eBay with very low quantities, 25 quantity here. It looks like people are kind of considering it. It's not really on the radar for the ban list. It's a solid deck as it performs right now. Khan was able to get I believe top 4 at the opening YCS of the format, and it does hop a regional here and there, so you might have had some money you didn't know in your bulk, in your trade binders. I just wanted to let you guys know, because certainly I felt like it's worth $1, but $2, that's nice. Altergeist, oh man, I'm gonna, Melusik, am I getting it? Am I still murdering it for you guys? It's climbing. It's almost a $10 card now, where it was bought out to the point where it was like mid 7, 8. So it's still just climbing. People are scrambling for theirs. I think when I look at those OCG pie charts and it like takes up 7 to 8%, I think to myself, like, this isn't going to be a defining deck, but for the price it is and the amount of the pie chart it takes up, I understand it. It is a decently fun and good deck at the same time, so I understand why people are resonating with this so much. It's just crazy to me that it's like that many people are after, not just vendors, not just like people going for investments. It's continuing to climb, and that's pretty cool, honestly. That like a deck like that has such low representation overall is getting so much interest, and it could pierce top cuts once it gets its new support, but at the same time, you do want to remember, like, this, that maybe if you have your invite and you're wanting to play with this, or you're really intent on using this to get your invite, those are the kind of people I think are going for it. It's not really investors just chasing after this as this was the only non-reprint. I think it's somewhat actually natural, and surprisingly so. I haven't reviewed Kaiba Collection in a while. Ash is still sitting at 50, but something I actually wanted to scroll down through all the high price cards is Beals. It just continues to kind of sink. It's down towards like the $6 mark now for the lowest sellers. And just a reminder, this is really good against True Draco. Sometimes you gotta make it as a Pendulum Magician player, like if you want to tech this in against Masterpiece as like an insane out. A lot of people don't think about Beals anymore, and they just leave their Masterpiece like out there, and they're like, yeah, go ahead, I'm gonna respond when I have to. And if you just make a Beals on them, it's like, and Beals is just really still amazing out here. So it's something to want to consider. Maybe teching, maybe trying out yourself in Pendulum Magician still. But again, I understand why people are like, my extra deck's too crammed right now. There's no way I can fit that tech in. Maybe its time has passed. And there is the ban list coming up too, which could hurt True Draco. But this is a tech you might want to just consider, especially as it falls in price for a nicer looking card than its premium gold counterpart. It is showing Ash Blossom is actually slowly falling as well. This guy avoids the word near mint a lot. The card was pulled into pulled and then put in a binder, but it looks really nice. So this is just a note to yourself. Like if your card is near mint, just put near mint on your listing and it will help the card a lot. I don't see anything particularly wrong with it, but just as a seller, maybe consider that if you feel confident in your card's condition like that. So $46 does seem to be the lowest, and it does rise slowly towards 50, but it's just a cheaper overall option than TCG Player right now. So it's kind of holding a line on TCG Player and diving slowly on eBay. And the final card, Fluffle Hype, of all things. Like, really, you guys are after Fluffles. Like, it's crazy. It's slowly gone up here. You see the market price is a little above. The quantities are very low. This is kind of a natural over time thing, although somebody did say in my comment section on a live stream, like, I was responsible for the Fight for Daredevil buyout. And I was like, what? When did this happen? So it's just like, this is a point that when people are really fans of decks, the cards just disappear from the market and become hard to get. And that's kind of the same mentality I have. Like, if you're trading for cards, go for Legendary Duels, because hard to get cards will come up in price. People who have waited might not get them, even though the true fans usually have them and make a way to get them. Not everybody can spend their money, all at once. Things happen in life, and things happen in life, obviously, and it's not a prank, bro. It's, oh man. Oh wait, I have it Fight for Daredevil. My bad. Let's check this out on eBay. I thought it had it price. Yeah, so it's a little bit cheaper on eBay because there's one quantity before it goes up. But guys, just spend your money wisely, trade wisely, and try not to just throw your money at everything either, or just like don't panic sell either. Like, the ban list is looming, but just trade smart. Trade for like collectible stuff more so than anything like these. They may have a bad trade rate in the future, but you'll keep your value if that's what you're truly scared of.